What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and this is my stock market update for 622 going into 623. So today was a really quiet day. Market traded up all day. Nasdaq looks amazing. That's a new closing high, not a new record high, but a new closing high. Volume came in a little bit lighter, but everything on this chart looks very bullish. It looks like it wants to tag a new high. We've held the T line very strong since this trigger candle on Monday. The market's got a character right now of running for about 2 to 3 weeks and then having a sharp 6% sell off. 6% sell off, 6% sell off, 6% sell off. So the market's got a character of running for a few weeks, sharp sell off, running for a few weeks, sharp sell off. Until that character breaks, I'm very bullish on this market. So with that being said, I think we're somewhere around mid channel. This line got messed up this morning. I think we're somewhere around mid channel on the NASDAQ. What does that mean? That simply means that I think we're due a sharp pull down pretty soon or grinding action along the short-term moving averages, something either like what happened last November, December, or a sharp sell down to the 21/support. So with that being said, I'm not overly excited about trades right now. I did buy some stocks today, but I would not be buying very heavily right here. If I was cash, I would take A plus setups if they presented themselves, but I wouldn't throw the kitchen sink at the market right here. The last day that I was really aggressive was last Monday. I put myself pretty heavy on margin on Monday because those type of reversals tend to lead to more strength in the market. And then as I'm recording this, futures are volatile right now, but it looks like Peter Navarro said the trade deal is over. So the NASDAQ 100, which is the futures I have access to, got as low as pretty much today's low. So that's actually not really that big of a reaction. What would get me worried is if the futures were to sell off to say 9,900 or so, and then tomorrow if we just sold off and plummeted through this 20-day moving average, I would be a little worried. So that would also be setting up a bearish kicker type candle. Right now futures are at looks like 1079, so futures are trading right here as I speak. So it's about mid candlestick today. That's nothing to be alarmed about. That's completely normal action. So tomorrow's open, and then how it trades will really matter. For the most part, even if tomorrow were to gap down and sell off, I'm going to take the down day on the chin because how strong my individual stocks have been. So my plan is to really just hold rather tight tomorrow and do nothing. Yeah, so I'll show you what I'm in. I'll show you what my stocks look like and what I'm thinking about as far as tomorrow goes. So here we go. I'm still in Adobe, and I wouldn't sell this unless it got below the 21, and I wouldn't buy it unless it did a constructive pullback or sideways action. Still in ALNY, and as long as it stays above the 50, I'm going to stay in this trade. Still in Amazon, as long as it's above the 21, staying in it. Still in BioMarin, as long as it stays above the 21, I'm still in it. Chegg, as long as it stays above the 34-day moving average, I'm going to stay in this trade. Domino's, I did do a very small add-on to my Domino's position. My cost basis is slightly under the 50-day moving average. That's a trigger candle. We had a Harami on Friday. I went ahead and added on to it. I think Domino's is right at I like to trade at the danger zone. And Domino's is at the danger zone where this chart's going to fall to pieces or it's going to skyrocket. And a longer term chart shows it a little better. You can see we're just chopping right near all-time highs. The weekly chart looks pretty good too. For one, there's a huge macro trend on the weekly chart that we're trading right under support. So I think if we are able to get above 390 and hold, then I think there's a lot more upside to Domino's. So I like Domino's. I made it a little bit bigger today. Dexcom, I'm still holding this. As long as above the 50, I'm not going to touch it. Grayscale, Bitcoin, GBTC. I started to trade in here. I bought it at 1075. So I'm down a little bit, but I took a 1/8, 1/7 position. Took a very small size because this is super volatile. These candlesticks are 10, 15% candlesticks. So I sized it to where if I take a 15% loss, it's below my average loss. So my average dollar loss. So I sized this rather small. I would be willing to buy more of this if it gaps up and has no tail tomorrow. I'd probably double my position or 1.5, add a half more to it, make it like a 1/3 position, maybe a 1/4 position. So I am willing to buy more of this if this is up tomorrow. And then if this breaks down I think 980 is going to be my absolute line in the sand, but I'm selling it somewhere around 10 probably if it has a weekday tomorrow. Um, I am very bullish on Bitcoin long term, though. I think Bitcoin's going to end up doing another monster run. What I like about Bitcoin, looks better on the weekly chart, but if you just connect the tops here and draw the downtrend line, we're making love to that downtrend line right now, and currently it's trading above it, getting support at it. So I think there's a chance that Bitcoin's going to do another leg higher, which this is about a double up right here. So I think there's the potential for another double up. Now, clearly, it's not straight up and it's very volatile and it's not an easy double up to hold through, but I do think there's double up or better potential in Bitcoin long term. Whether or not this is the entry that's going to work, I'm not so certain about that, which is why I started such a small position in it. GSX, as long as this holds the 8-day moving average, I'm not touching this trade. Labu, as long as this is above the 50, I'm not touching this trade. Livongo, above the 21, not touching the trade. Melly, as long as Melly stays above the short-term moving averages, I'm not touching this trade. Melly is my biggest dollar winner right now. I've got a big position in here, and aside from this day right here, Melly's been one of the easiest holds I've had in my career. I bought it on the breakaway gap and have just let her work. NBIX, as long as it stays above, probably the 21 at this point. So the 21 is where I would get out of this position. As long as it's above the 21, I'm staying in this trade. Netflix, as long as it's above the 50, my buy is below the 50-day moving average. It did break out of a flat base today, but I don't like to buy strength, even though this is a candlestick that could have been bought. Somebody could have started a position today in Netflix, and I don't think that would have been a bad trade, but I like to buy weakness. I do a lot better buying weakness. Sometimes I don't get full. I have a full position in Netflix, but sometimes I don't get full, like my full line out there before a stock starts running. But I tend to lose smaller and win bigger by buying weakness. I lose more frequently because I take less probable trades, but my losses are so small that the risk to reward makes sense and it fits my style. I really like to buy weakness. So I was buying Netflix, down here off the 50. That's my style. ServiceNow, still in this as long as it closes, and really I would give it the 21 plus a day. So as long as it behaves around the 20-day moving average, I would stay in this. I did do a really small add-on today. I'm probably going to get burned on that if the NASDAQ gaps down on me, but I didn't ruin my cost basis by any means. It was a very small number of shares. Okta, as long as it's above the 34, I'm not selling it. PayPal, as long as it's above the 21, not selling it. QRVO, this is a trade I started today. I initiated a position. I didn't size it big. I sized it down to be somewhere around 108 is where I would sell it, and I sized it to where that's not a huge dollar amount for me. QRVO is a cup with handle. There's a cup right here, and then here's the handle. It already broke out, and now it's chopping right above the buy zone. The buy point's 109 and some change. So it broke out, pulled back to the buy point, and then has gotten support, and that's why I entered this trade. I really like this. What I like about this setup is the RS line's already in new high ground. It's hard to see on this chart. I guess I can pull that up, but this is the relative strength line, and the relative strength line has already pretty much broken out before the stock has broken out, and that sort of bullish divergence is something I really like in a setup, which is what made me want to take it. I think it's about a half position is what I bought in this stock. And then Regeneron, I'm still in this. As long as it's above the 50, I'm not touching this trade. Shopify, as long as that's above the 21, I'm not touching this trade. And then I started a position in Atlassian today, and I'm not up a ton. My buy is at 182, so I bought it 3 times throughout the day just to kind of get a half position in there. So I've got a half position in there. I'm a seller below today's low, and depending on how futures shake out, this might be one that burns me and I end up taking a quick loss on it. I've traded Team in the past and had good success, but it is a little bit more of a volatile enterprise software stock. So sometimes if you don't get the entry just right, it'll shake you out. But if you can get in Atlassian, I mean, the weekly chart will show you it's a winner if you can get in it, but it's not easy to hold. These weekly charts where it sells off are kind of sharp. But I have done well in this stock in the past, and I think it's a really good company. Teradyne, I'm still in this. Bought it last Monday, and it hasn't given me a reason. I'm a seller below the 21. Tandem, I'm a seller below the 50. Looks like it's going to give me a down day and possibly make this already as a big cup with handle. It looks better on the weekly chart. cup handle, but this handle in of itself is a cup and it is long enough to be a cup. So now it could make a handle. So the handle to the big cup with handle could make a cup with handle in itself. So if Tandem were to actually sell off and then give me one of my trigger candles, I would make this position bigger. Right now it's a full position, but I would size it. I wouldn't like throw the kitchen sink at it, but I would jack it up to like a 100, 120, 130% position. I normally take 10% position, so I'd jack it up to a 13, 14, 15% position if it were to, and that's of my total portfolio. If it were to give me another entry right here. And if it just shoots up, I'm going to hold it and let it do its thing. I'm still in Twilio. As long as it's above the 21, I'm not going to sell this stock. I'm still in Vertex. As long as it's above the 50, I'm not going to sell this stock. Still in Wingstop. As long as this is above the 50, I'm not going to sell this stock. Still in Zscaler. As long as it's above $100, I'm not selling this stock. And that's what I'm in. I can show you some trades I like. Oh, and then one thing I did do between now and yesterday is I closed down Wheaton WPM for about a 1% gain. I only closed this trade down just due to margin requirements. I wanted to try to take a go at Grayscale Bitcoin, and I'm in the process of moving money around in my accounts, so my margin account didn't have the buying power to buy GBTC, and I felt like GBTC, while I still like Wheaton, there's nothing wrong with this chart. I shouldn't have sold it. Like, that looks like it's going to go higher to me still. But I thought GBTC has the potential for more upside. And I think if we do hit a little bit of short-term weakness in the market, Bitcoin has a chance to rally and be sort of like a hedge. So that's why I decided to prioritize this trade over that trade. But I closed down Wheaton for a gain. There's nothing wrong with that chart, and it's likely going to go higher. So going into tomorrow, I mean, there's plenty of stocks I like. I mean, I can show you some things I like, but I don't like being overly aggressive right here due to where the NASDAQ is in its channel. That being said, Stamps.com, I love the way that looks. If that's up again tomorrow, that's a buy with a stop below today's low. This ETF bots, I kind of just found out about this thing, but I really love the way it looks. It looks real strong. I think that's going higher. And I do think AI is the future. So I also like this. I don't think this is an entry, but this SOCL, the social media ETF, this thing's no joke. Look at that strength. That's something I'm looking to get into potentially. I still like AMD. AMD hasn't broken. This is now a flat base that's playing out, and I think it's going to resolve to the upside because it's holding the 50 so strongly. You can see it right on the 10-week line, trading super tight, volumes still okay. So AMD is one not to throw in the garbage can. I keep getting chopped up in this base because it keeps faking me out, but I think eventually it's going to work. We'll see. It's either going to fail or work, but it's worth watching because it might work. I've been talking about this LMNX forever. It finally gave a buy signal, so if it were to close above the T line, I think this is half of a cup, and so potentially you could be buying against the low of a base. So I wouldn't buy big, but say you start a fifth of a position with a 4% stop. You have a 4% stop to potentially make somewhere around, fill in that gap. So 4% stop to make 29%, and then odds are this base will give more buy signals to be able to build the position bigger on the way up and move the stop up. So I see this as a high probability trade. It's a little bit bottom fishy, so that's why I would only throw about a fifth of a position at it, but I do like this setup. And then I guess the last thing I'll show, because there's a lot of stuff I saw, but I just don't love a lot of these. And even the ones I'm showing, I don't really love. But Zendesk is a stock that I bought this day right here, and then I got stopped out of it when it gapped down that day. But it's setting back up, and if that were to be green again, that's a buy. And Zendesk has really good earnings and sales. So with that being said, it looks like for the moment, futures are barely down, so it's not even worth mentioning. But looks like futures are above halfway of today's candlestick on the NASDAQ. So we'll see how everything shakes out. I'm not really like it would take a big down day. I mean, no matter what, if tomorrow is a 4 or 5% down day, kind of like what we had last week, I'm going to take it on the chin and probably not sell a single stock. So because of the position I'm in and the streak I'm on and the cushion I've built in all my positions, tomorrow all hell could break loose tomorrow, and odds are I don't sell very much, if anything at all. Now, if it's weak again on Wednesday, I would start reducing some of my size most likely. So that's my game plan. As always, I just put these videos out there because I think this is something I would have liked to bump into when I started trading. This isn't financial advice. Think for yourself. Make your own decisions. Do your own research. I'm a guy that trades for a living, and I'm sharing what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and what I'm looking at. If you find these videos helpful, stick around. So let's crush this tomorrow. Let's make some money, and good luck, guys.